Hello and welcome to a new series on the channel where we are discovering the lore of Death Stranding. But not only the lore, we are relating it to gameplay elements. We're not just talking about the story, but we're also talking about the gameplay. And that starts with this first video where we are talking about the humanoid enemies within Death Stranding 2. They are a little bit different, but kind of the same as the first game also. So a little bit different, but kind of the same. There's not very much here. So honestly, there's not much to really get through, but what we will do is first read what it says in the corpus about these characters, and then we'll, talk about it after. So the first one we have is the Bandits. These are the ones that you're gonna not face very often in the game. You only really face them in the beginning when you're in Mexico. So yeah, that's really about it. But what it says for Bandits is they are a hostile group that is active in the former Mexico. They are aware of the risk posed by voidouts and never use lethal weapons. So they're kind of like you. Bandits are superficially similar to the mules who operate in the UCA, but are fundamentally different. Mules are affected with drone syndrome. Their only goal is to make more and more deliveries, and they are particularly attached to their own cargo. The Bandits' top priority, on the other hand, is survival, just survival. As such, they have been known to steal other people's cargo, making them an irritating presence for porters. To say that they're literally just here to survive, they're doing their stuff, they're just bandits, they're not like under the UCA and like following, rules and regulations, but they're in essence pretty much mules. They're the most simple type. They're not using much crazy tech. They don't have like a bunch of really cool guns or a bunch of armor that you have to get through or use special weapons for. Nothing really like that. A lot of times they just have those like electric batons and stuff, and they're really easy to kill. That's why they put them in the beginning of the game. They're not kill. You're not actually killing them, but destroy, knock out, I guess. You find them in the beginning of the game. They're super easy, nothing crazy. But then we have the Brigands, and they're a little bit different. They are a violent group that opposes the introduction of foreign technologies such as the Chiral network and resists any change to the status quo. So they're against the Chiral network, and that's why they're on their own, doing their own thing. You're gonna mostly find these people in the second area in Australia. You're gonna find them. In fact, there's a very early area in that game where you'll find them. It's one of the first camps you're gonna find is going to be some Brigands, and you'll notice it because they throw like those things that those bombs that they throw, and it basically just stops your vehicles, right? So that's something that they will use. They follow the tradition of the Luddites, who destroyed machinery in 19th century England in an attempt to safeguard their livelihoods, as well as the Luddites, who criticized the advent of IT at the end of the 20th century. And if we look up a little bit into Luddites, let me just pull it up real quick, you know what I mean? The Luddites were members of the 19th century movement of English textile workers who opposed the use of certain types of automated machinery due to concerns relating to worker pay and output quality. They often destroyed the machines in organized raids. Members of the group referred to themselves as Luddites, self-described followers of Ned Ludd, a legendary weaver whose name was used as a pseudonym in threatening letters to mill owners and government officials. And if we look at the word Luddite, it seems that it's actually like, this is a noun, plural noun, Luddites. It says that it can actually be pretty derogatory. A person opposed to new technologies or ways of working. Also then there's historical, a member of any of the bands of the English workers who destroyed machinery, especially in cotton and woolen mills, that they believed was threatening their jobs in 1811 to 16. And that is interesting that it can be used to be like a derogatory term, meaning a person who's opposed to new technologies and ways of working. And with these Luddites, they were opposed to the new technology, similar to the Brigands, who are in the same place where they are opposed to the new chiral, network and all this different stuff. They're not about that. They're not about that. They don't like this new stuff. They're trying to do it their own way. You know what I mean? But yeah, the Brigands believe that the effects of the UCA's chiral network are already being felt in Australia in the form of unprecedented environmental anomalies. As such, they have developed a hatred for the very concept of chiral technology. The Brigands predate the arrival of the first APAC expedition. They adapted to surviving in the post-Stranding wastelands by pillaging other groups and settlements. They are terrified of causing voidouts and therefore do not use lethal weapons for fear of killing someone and leaving a corpse. So they're similar to bandits in that way, but they were here before, APAC came here to, link up things and stuff. So they're really like OGs, OGs of the environment. They were on their own, and then these new kids on the block say, let's try to hook up this Chiral network. No, no. I said they try to do that, but yeah, they don't like the Chiral network. They don't like these new kids. But then we have the armed survivalists. And by the way, with the brigands, like I said, they're not really going to use many crazy stuff. They're going to use guns, of course, but they're not going to be like super lethal or trying to kill you. They're going to, of course, take your stuff. But that's the thing. They're going to knock you out, get you out of there, say bye-bye, get out of our face, get out of our area. You know what I'm saying? Basically, they just don't want you to mess with them, or they finna mess with you. Yeah, they have like they have a lot of electric type stuff. Like I said, like the bombs and stuff, like the wands. Like the the wands of electricity and stuff. They have that type of stuff with them. But then we have the armed survivalists that are last. The armed survivalists prize independence and self-containment, rejecting contact with other groups. So they don't mess around with brigands and bandits. Well, they can't mess with bandits, but brigands, they don't mess with that. They on their own. Like preppers, they value self-sufficiency, but have taken the doctrine of survivalism to a radical, lethal extreme and will attack anyone they perceive as a threat. Like the brigands, the armed survivalists are opposed to the expansion of the Chiral network and the arrival of APAC in Australia. So they're in the exact same place as the brigands. Several other groups with similar views are found all over the continent, but are disorganized and scattered. So it seems like the armed survivalists are more just their own thing, similar to the other ones, yeah, but they want to kill you, right? Like they will literally kill you, like whenever they can. They see you, they finna kill you. And they got armor too, so it's hard to get through to them. You have to use like heavy weapons, you gotta, go crazy with it. You know what I mean? You can't just, and that's the thing, even if you shoot them with a regular gun, they got armor, so they're just gonna be harder generally to kill. So that's the thing. And it's with the brigands and bandits, usually you could shoot them a couple times, maybe get a headshot and you good. But with the armed survivalists, you really gotta shoot them a lot more. So they're gonna be harder to kill, and they're gonna be someone who's more dangerous, a more dangerous enemy. They're the ones where like they're probably the most dangerous in the sense that I would avoid them, right? If I'm going on a regular delivery, I don't care about no bandits or brigands. Like it's really whatever. I'm not really afraid of them. But of the humanoid enemies, and I think the humanoid enemies are the weakest of all the enemies, very easily. The ghost mechs are much more lethal and crazy, and so are the BTs, right? And of course, we'll talk about those in coming videos. But with the armed survivalists in particular, they're the most scary of the regular humans. And for me, I actually genuinely like to avoid them for the most part, because they're just kind of difficult to fight with how tanky they are and just crazy they are. They're armed and dangerous. I'm sorry. But, they're a little armed and dangerous. You know what I mean? So I just like to avoid them for the most part. You know what I mean? But if you were thinking about how like to defeat them, you can defeat pretty much every one of these by being, and that's the thing with these humanoid enemies, you can defeat them by just being super stealthy. You just take them out before they even see you. But for me, I think it's the most fun to just fight them head on. But I mean, to each their own, whichever way you want to play it. But I think for the most part, you're going to have the most fun, like actually fun part, like just facing the armed survivalists. Even though I said they're scary, the armed survivalists are the most fun to face because it's just crazy. Especially if you're playing the hardest difficulty, it's not going to be super difficult, but it'll be a little, you gotta at least activate some brain cells, activate some neurons to fight them, So it'll be, at least a little bit tricky, depending on how like strong they are, right? Because if you don't fight a group for a long time, you just like leave them, right? They start getting their defenses back up, right? So they'll get stronger and stronger. But yeah, we're going to stop it here. Don't want to go into too much. I just wanted to talk about them and their history and why they do what they do. And yeah, I'm not gonna talk about too much of like how to defeat them, because I feel like that's a whole other ballpark of like, how do you defeat them? This is a little much. I mean, the gist of how to defeat them is you defeat them. There's a bunch of ways. There's so many weapons you could use. There's a bunch of things there's a bunch of ways to defeat them, to be real. For the most part though, I just avoid them personally. You know what I mean? I don't even care too much. Unless I'm trying to get something that they have. Otherwise, I mean, you could kill them with any gun that exists, pretty much. Humans are kind of the easiest things to kill. I guess not kill, unless you really are killing every enemy. Wow, that's a little crazy. I don't know why you do that, but for the most part, you're probably not. You're not using you don't know how to activate your gun to make it kill? Rookie. You'll learn at some point. But either way, that's all I have to say about the humanoid enemies within the game. These are the easiest enemies to defeat, and they have the simplest of motivations, usually survival, or they just want violence. The ones that were most interesting are Brigands, because they're related to something I didn't even know about, Luddites. I didn't even know about all that, so that's a little interesting. But other than that, that's this video. Stay tuned for the next ones, where we have a lot of topics to talk about, and in the specific ones that are coming up after this, of course, we're going to talk about the rest of the enemies that you will face, including the BT enemies and the ghost mech enemies. Those are going to be the next videos, and then after that we're going to go on to just other general stuff within the game, and talk about the story of why they exist and why they do what they do, and who are they, what do they do, who are you, and what's your name, and what do you do, why do you do what you do, and what do you do what do you do, and why do you do it? I'm sorry, I'm just talking, bro. Anyway, if you liked the video, go ahead and leave a like, and I'm saying dislike if you didn't like it, you know what I mean? Hey, be honest. But then go ahead and subscribe for more W content on this channel, lore discussions, news, reviews, anything. We going crazy on the channel, all right? And in the recent videos, the new videos we're about to do right now, very soon from this video, we're going to be doing a lot of lore content, so be absolutely locked in by subscribing for the lore content. It's about to go crazy. But either way, with that being said, you should probably watch the video on the screen after you comment down below. Did you comment already? You didn't comment down below? You didn't? Okay, that's fine. Anyway, if you want to, though, comment down below what you think about this video, and watch the video that's on the screen right now. I bet you it's amazing. Oh my, that video on the screen is so juicy looking. You better click on the video. Oh my, oh.